Meriah, tell me about yourself. Where were you born and raised?
I was born in Tacoma. Lived in the same house for the first 17 years of my life in Tacoma. Shortly after that, in my early adult years, I lived in the Tri-Cities and Spokane a little bit, even ventured down to Vancouver, Portland area for a year. And then it's just mainly been the Seattle area.
Gotcha.
Since then.
And growing up, did you grow up with mom and dad? Was there siblings?
I was raised by a single mom of 4. I was the youngest. I had 2 sisters and 1 brother. But my dad was very involved at the same time. He was definitely a diligent child support payer and visitation taker, and he was definitely one of my best friends growing up.
Yeah. And what was home life like?
With my mom, even though she was the sole provider, main provider, it was difficult. She tried to juggle best she could, with having all those kids. And even then, it's even with child support, it doesn't always cover everything, especially when you want the best for your kids, So it was kind of a struggle. She always worked multiple jobs and then picked up extra things here and there. And even sometimes she, at one point she had her own cleaning company on the side, and at that point I was old enough to go and help her. But a lot of other things she did, to earn money, she did to give us funner things. Like we had horses growing up, and they're expensive. But she was able to find a situation where we could board our horses and take care. The people who owned the property were elderly and they couldn't take care of their own. So we would take care of theirs for them, just so we could have exchange to board our horses there and such. So
amazing. She
made things work. She was really frugal and resourceful, is what I would say.
Yes.
And with Dad, mostly it was just fun. But he had the easy job, not having to take all those kids on all at the same time.
So you guys lived primarily
with Mom,
with your mom, but never lived at Dad's?
No, just the weekends.
Gotcha.
Well, every other weekend for the most part.
Oh, gotcha. And you went to high school in Tacoma?
Mm-hmm.
And all that kind of stuff? What was it like in high school for you?
It was okay. It was a little bit difficult, I think, because earlier in my elementary years, teachers didn't really pay too much attention to whether kids got what was going on or not. They didn't have these rules and laws passed, no child left behind type situation, and all those testing to make sure they actually get it. So I had to have a little bit of extra help, but Mom definitely took the time to make sure that I got extra credit when need be, and anything C or below is not accepted. So, and I always pretty much
C- and below.
For the most part, I always kept to that, because otherwise, she definitely instilled in us that there are consequences for our actions and the choices we make. So if we choose to slack when we have the opportunity to do better, then no fun, because fun's a privilege, not a right.
Well, in high school, what were you doing?
Honestly, actually, I was either helping Mom with the side jobs, or once I was legally able to work, I had my own job from immediately. Because I knew that if I wanted to do extracurriculars like sports, or I was a cheerleader my senior year, I had to make sure that I could cover that myself, because there just wasn't room in the family budget for that kind of stuff, because it was $1,600 to be a cheerleader, so that was not going to be able to be doable.
Gotcha. Well, so after high school, where did life take you?
I went to Eastern Washington. In my senior year, I met my boyfriend, who ended up being my children's father. We were together for 10 years. We went to the Tri-Cities, which is where he was originally from, but I did meet him in Tacoma. And had my kids over in the Tri-Cities. I have 3 kids. I have twins and a girl. Twin boys, identical twin boys and a girl. But that didn't exactly work out. But, that happens. And we agreed that it would be better to simply co-parent apart, as opposed to being together and seeing them fight, then see us fight,
Yeah.
So we tried to make the management decision to do that, and it's been going okay since then. But then I got married to someone that I met in Tacoma as well, but that unfortunately didn't work out either. But I've been kind of being a trooper on my own out here for like the last 5-ish years, but recently met an awesome guy who's kind of changed my life for the better, so it's awesome.
I have a lot of questions about that, but let's start. So where are your kids now? Are they still in the Tri-Cities?
Yeah, they're with their dad at the moment.
Gotcha. And you still, how old are they now?
12 and 14.
Oh yeah, I guess some teenagers coming up right now. And you talk to them, have a relationship with them? Oh, great. And then, so tell me about, I have not talked to many people about kind of romantic relationships while being unhoused. What is that? I mean, of course, we're humans and that happens, but it's like, I don't know if you can give any insight to that, or...
You definitely want to make sure somebody that you're getting involved with is on the same page as you. Because, I mean, there's all types of different things out here, where some people are okay with being, like, where they're at out here. They're comfortable, and they're not in any way interested in getting housing or, like, wanting for better. They're just comfortable. I'm personally one of those people who, I need ambition. I don't care if you try and fail as long as you're trying. There has to be a desire for more, because this is not it.
Yeah, so that kind of begs the question for me. It's like, what do you want? Do you want housing?
Well, being with the guy, that's taken me from kind of displaced to in an RV on private property, and
so
we're in the process of working our way to getting our own place and whatnot. So.
Gotcha. So tell me, you said you've been on the streets for 5 years?
About that, yeah.
So tell me about that. How did that happen? What was that journey like?
That was rough. I kind of had a falling out with a member in my family, and unfortunately one day I was sitting there hanging out with my kids, and all of a sudden police showed up, and they arrested me, and I had no idea why. And in the end, they had said that I had stolen their car, stolen their cell phone, and beat them up and threatened to burn the house down to finish the job. So I was fighting 3 felonies and 2 misdemeanors, and it took me 4 months to get out of that one. But
so they arrested you. You went to jail
for 4 months, yeah.
Wow. Oh,
but in that, I lost my job, I lost my car, I lost my housing, and for a while I lost my kids.
Wow.
And so. It's crazy how easy it is to lose everything, but it's so hard to get even a little bit back.
Yeah. I think that's something that people don't understand who are housed, because you never thought this could happen to me.
Not at all.
Until it does. So people don't understand you could fall into these, it's like, it does happen. Like you said, you had a job, you were employed, you had a place to stay, you had a car, and then by the time that 4 months is up, you have nothing. And so where do you go after that 4 months? Or where did you go?
Pretty much friends' houses.
So you couch surf for a little bit?
A couple family members' houses. Yeah. It ended up being more friends' houses as opposed to families' houses that would end up working better for me. I never liked to be a burden to anyone, and I didn't exactly have the means to, I tried so hard to get a job, but it's so hard to find a job when you don't know where you're going to be from day to day and you have no car or transportation, and you don't even know if the job that wants you is going to be so far away, and you have no means to get there. Even a bus would be 2 hours or something like that. It's just not realistic, and it's really difficult. And so I did a lot more cleaning jobs, and people would hire me to help them organize their storage units and such like that. It was more of a friend's word of mouth type thing, but it helped me get something to get by. And if I couldn't necessarily monetarily compensate people for letting me stay, I would do just that, help them clean, cook, watch their kids, and such like that, nanny, housekeeper, organizer, personal assistant. So
Whatever.
errand runner and personal shopper, whatever, whatever I could. So,
but eventually you were out on the street.
Mm-hmm.
Like what was that like? Do you remember the first time you're like, I'm staying the night outside?
Culture shock. I would want to. I want to say that I was scared, but I really wasn't, honestly, because at that point I was kind of, even though I wasn't out here like sleeping out here, I was still out here, kind of, because
Like
even
halfway,
kind of halfway, because even though I have places to sleep, that's not where I would be residing during the day.
Right.
So it's like partially housed, partially not, when I was couch surfing and whatnot, just because I didn't want to impose on anybody.
Right. Oh, so you would leave during the daytime.
Give them their space so that it wasn't too encroaching
Gotcha.
on
So
what they need to do, their family life and all that such. So.
Right. Yeah, so that's 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so tell me about...
Well, it's been like that on and off the whole time, really.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So your current situation, where are you?
I'm in an RV in Fremont.
Gotcha.
On someone's private property, so we're cozy for now, but we're still working on getting out of there and getting into our own digs that is better than an RV.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty decent sized RV too, so it's not just this little tiny thing.
Yeah.
But still, we know that that's only temporary, all in all, and so we're definitely trying not to get too comfortable. So we're trying to plan for the next step right now and prepare for it.
Meriah, is there anything you'd want to say to the people of Seattle?
Be nice.
Tell me more.
It's crazy how someone can be viewed and treated so differently just because of they are viewed as one way, or homeless, not homeless, because at one time in my life, the customer was always right, and there was customer service, and there was respect, and all that. And anymore, the customer's always wrong. There's no respect. You're looked down upon, and it's just it's sad and quite ridiculous, honestly. I've been accused of stealing in a store, and I was in no way, shape, or form doing that. I'd open my bag, I'd show them all that, I'd empty my pockets, and in the end, they'd still say, "Okay, now leave anyway."
Yeah.
It's like, for what? Not stealing?
Yeah. Well, that's a good question. Because
what?
Why? Right.
And, we don't need your kind here. It's like, what do you mean you're kind?
Right.
Because whether I'm homeless or not, I'm still here to spend money. So what's wrong with my money as opposed to the next person's?
Yeah, so there's a stigma, right?
It's a terrible stigma, yeah. Because, you should never judge a book by its cover. That was another thing that, when I was with my children's father, he worked a hard labor construction job, but it was also a hard labor government construction job, and he got paid great money. But he'd come home all dirty, and all that. And so we'd go shopping or something, and he'd be fresh off work, and people would look at him like he was just coming out of the gutter. But really, it's like, honey, he's making double what you are. But so judging a book by its cover thing is never a good thing. And plus, where does that get you? The negative attitude and the negative treatment, the lack of empathy and the lack of consideration and the lack of compassion in the city is quite disgusting at times. Because there's no one in life that hasn't gone through a hard time, and sometimes even just simply a positive attitude and a smile on someone's face can make a world of difference in the domino effect of things that happen to a person, whether it be where they're wishing they weren't alive on the ground, in the corner, sobbing at the end of the day, or, hopeful, driven and, encouraged for better, and keeping up hope, at the end of the day. So it makes a world of difference.
Yeah, it does. There's a tremendous freedom as well for people who have compassion and empathy. It's like it can't feel good to not have those things and just walk around.
It's gotta be exhausting
scared,
being so negative
exhausting, right? And just pessimistic and this person and fear. that seems exhausting.
I know.
But it's like just to say like, oh, Meriah, like, hey, what's up? How's your day going? Hi. doesn't take much, right? Just like,
I used to have my own personal like a not necessarily challenge, but my own personal like just thing that I did, that whenever I would come across somebody that just seemed like they were a sourpuss, like they were just had a sour demeanor, my goal was always to do whatever I had to make them smile. And I found that, especially with women, more often than not, a compliment works. And so there's a couple people, like I've had a couple of different ladies that worked at gas stations that were just, everybody thinks that they're just the most sour, mean, B words out here, but they're nice to me and they smile when I walk in the door, because now they're nice to me and they're like happy to see me because I'm always nice to them.
right.
At first it was just me complimenting on one lady's nails and on another lady's earrings, and now it was just a different thing here and there, and now they're just always happy to see me.
It opens somebody up, and they kind of like, okay, this person's not
it's
a threat.
like I brighten their day, and so it's kind of cool.
Yeah, and it doesn't cost. Did that cost you anything?
No,
money?
But it feels good.
It feels great. I think we can all learn something from that. Meriah, thanks for your time. It's good to hear part of your story. It's good to hear your voice.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. I'm gonna grab that little mic. You open for a hug?
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
There you are. Snap in your finger.